It's Podraza. I'm not making any of this up. There is a mind out there. He's 96. And I'm telling you, I will not let that mind down. My son gave me this apartment, and it's beautiful. And I do want to know to share that apartment with you. I'm very fair with you on this. I know sometimes one has loyalties to where one worked. I have loyalty in a bank to the good in that bank, not who caused me a problem, or a male who went somewhere else on this. I wasn't at my best from a first marriage, for sure, due to what wasn't told me, and I am not against the psychiatrist. I just had to make a decision at a point in time that I could not make a decision. Mom was still in Connecticut, so I went back there. She joins me here later, upset by some of her own friends at the south end of Hartford in churches. Church where my grandmother raised the two girls in the south end. Now, that does have to be looked at. I understand one can be loyal. I am loyal to executives in it. I'm not a loyal to a bad executive. There's been no apology. There is a difference. Now, you find it, I would have to question you on, and I'm not angry with you, your terms of loyalty to somebody who went bad when you worked for them. I'm not loyal to who went bad. That's very important in this situation. I'd have to question grammar school kids who went bad in a neighborhood, and even, I guess that's it. Grammar school is questionable on this. Due to Sister Grace, Mary was very good. I was teaching first grade as a second grader, and then they moved her out of there. It was not Father Janet. I never heard from her. She was not bad. She was a good nun, a good sister of mercy. I have to question why I was never told where she went to. You see, there's bad there. That's the only line I would question. You have a right to question the psychics here. You have a right to question that Deborah Slavin's oddity. But now, as far as Walter Heyer goes, and his son, he was about 13 years younger. And there are some Orthodox Jews that want to marry a virgin, and I wanted him to have that action, that ability. I had 2 children. And Walter said it didn't matter, and that's very good of him to do that. But I had that in my heart in the future for that boy. It might have made a difference within the Jews later on. I've been to a bar mitzvah, and I enjoyed it. And I really do feel there was a time when we did well with Jews. Now, there has been, I consider, you have a question on the Capo Jews on this. In terms of that, I am not loyal to a Capo Jew either, who turncoated their own nationality on this and became more of a Nazi than they did their own race. I've had trouble in Massachusetts and Maine on that. That Yentl is a Jew, accordingly, and he's a good Jew to me. And I do want to retain that mind. He's older, and he's trying to keep his faith. So from that respect, and there is a nice couple in my own neighborhood and a babysitter that I'll never go against, the Stevens. They were very good to me. And so wasn't the babysitter on Greeley Road. This does have to be addressed a bit within that Catholic faith, due to my being thrown out of my grandmother's church, and my mother hurt very badly on that. It was in the south end of Hartford. that does connect with Cooney and Flaherty. And that's the only thing I have to say for you. Since he associated with that, how can you remember him as good? He's one of the ones who ruined my career in the country. Now, Goldman is connected with, I think, something to do. I'm not sure about this. I don't have my research. Goldman is connected with somebody, Casey, in as far as U of Mass. And that could be connected on this also. And he messed around with me in Massachusetts. Now, so that's very serious. I think there was a loose mail from a psychiatric hospital that drove me home to Princeton Crossing. I had to go through the wealthy section of Jews. There was a wealthy section, Marblehead. I think it was Marblehead. They were close together, but wealthy Jews. There were less wealthy, Chelsea. But Marblehead was a beautiful region near the water. He took me the long route, and I said, I think this is the long route back. I was afraid he'd rape me. His eyes got strange. But I worked with him so that he wouldn't go crazy. And I got back to Princeton Crossing. He let me out of there. And he didn't bother me. I had to sit in a Dunkin' Donuts all night with my schedule so that I got the tea at 5 in the morning over at CVS. Walgreens tried. They were both hard workers. Could only pay me $5 an hour, and I didn't want to go on subsidy. It's in Middletown, Mass, and I couldn't get there. The car kept breaking down. Bumper to bumper on snowstorms and getting back. I had to finally try to take a risk with a manual who paid me $10 an hour at that time, and I hoped to get a practicum. They were hard workers. They were very good. They could retain math a little better. I had to crisscross it. They did that, never criticized me. I tried to do a good day's work on the register quite a bit, and I offered to clean the menstruation pads out. He thanked me, couldn't stand it. He happened to be single at the time. It nauseated me. I said, I'll take care of it and use gloves. And I cleaned that out. He was forever indebted to me on that little spoon in there. Didn't wrap them or anything. I'll tell you, that can nauseate somebody. I always wrapped mine. I had very heavy, over and over and over. Sometimes it even absorbed that. I had hospital level menstruation pads at one point. But I tried, I put it way down in a basket. I'm going to tell you, no Jew ever did me dirty on that subject. Emmanuel didn't, nor did Irving Frank say one thing about my reference to that subject matter. He was a Jew, Emmanuel Green. He did not say a thing, nor did his wife. That's very important. Now, I would have fought with Irving Frank through the ground on the whole thing. And Emmanuel was in a mess due to an ex-wife and somebody who loved him, and building that business and hiring some female that was going to be a doctor. I got all messed up on that. It was due to the situation. But he would say nothing on it, wrapped it way down. And I'm going to tell you, Irving Frank, I said something at a TCBY type of thing, and he did not laugh or say a thing about that issue also. Orthodox Jew or something like that, Van Rubenstein, said nothing when I menstruated also. And I try to be considerate about it. No Jew said a word. They should not. It's biblically sound that some of them did not wash in those days. My father never said a word. My mother didn't. I would check that out if they had to go somewhere. Never said a word on it. They had that taken care of My father operated by 10 commandments. Nothing was ever said on that subject matter in that house. I blasted 2 mans on that, defending a female at a bus stop on that subject, because I know that some Orthodox Jews will not do that. I was fair to Walter. Maybe it didn't matter, but I wanted it to matter to that boy in case he wanted a virgin he had never been married yet, as a Jew. Now, this is not funny on that subject. I literally did fight for a female at a bus stop on that. Boy, they backed off a little bit on that. And that's up to her and her husband. But I didn't like it either, because what I read was persecution on that subject matter. And boy, I tried to be considerate, even in Willimantic. By wrapping that thing way down the basket, somebody emptied it, put paper on top of that, and tried to keep that as clean as could be. I had no bathroom in my apartment. I had to go out in the hall and use a facility. Now, I only question you on that particular sentence. You have a right on that psychic thing. You're to look up, if you don't mind, Ruth May. She was no satanic or seance